Welcome, shave fans. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. This will be an Artisan Spotlight episode. I was thinking about it, and there are certain artisans in the wet shaving community that really seem to go above and beyond for the community itself and, well, just for life in general. So the first one that I decided to do, because a group of friends of mine and I were talking about him today, is Douglas Smythe over at Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements. And so I will be shaving with Briar today. And I chose Briar because it's one that I have not shaved with on camera yet. So I wanted to do that. And technically Briar is one of Fran's original pedal pushers scents. Very popular one that was discontinued for a while because they couldn't find the ingredients for the exact, right essential oils and resins and I don't know what else. But anyway, so eventually they were able to, through the internet, track down the right stuff. And so it made a comeback quite a while ago. But I just thought, it's a really nice scent, tobacco and vanilla and a bunch of other stuff, rose, this and that. So it's just a really nice blend. And I went ahead and did a palm lather, which is why I'm applying this with my hand. You can see how nice and glossy that lather is. And I kind of overdid it with this giant 26 mil. So I have about 10 times more lather than I really need. But very quick and easy to lather. Okay, so while I shave here, I'll talk a little bit about what I know about Douglas. And that's all I can really talk about, right? So some of this would just be the stuff that he has never really said, but I have noticed that he's done. First of all, he is an artisan's artisan. And by that, I mean, he doesn't just buy blends of essential oils off the shelf and throw them in soap and, roll them out. No, he's actually, basically got a lab set up. And for several of his soaps and aftershaves, he's concocting his own essential oils and his own fragrances, which is pretty darn cool. Oh, I'm using the PAA DOC, by the way, if that wasn't obvious. So, an artisan's artisan. He's also extremely prolific. So he's always coming out with new soaps, new fragrances, new stuff. And, I've heard some people around about basically accuse him of, always coming out with new stuff just to drive sales and do stuff like that. But I really don't think that that's it. I mean, sure, you got to come up with new things in order to keep sales going. After a while, we have all your stuff, and then, what are you going to do? But I really think, after having watched a bunch of his videos where he talks about, creating his own essential oils and his own aftershaves and all that kind of stuff, the reason he creates new stuff all the time is because he can't help it. I mean, that's just how his brain is wired. He is constantly thinking up new stuff and new things to try. Let's do this. Let's try this. See how it is. Which is how I am too with the, with my 3D printing stuff. And now that, you know, I've been doing it for a while, I get a lot of custom requests and things like that too. But anyway, so that creative streak is something I really appreciate too. Another thing that I really like about Douglas is that anytime there's somebody in need in the community, he's always right there. You know, he's right there with support. Several times he has done special limited edition soaps to raise funds for people. And a lot of people don't know this, but I noticed, because at one point he showed his deposit and I did the math. And on that and previous ones, I then confirmed it, he donated everything. It's not just the profits that he donated from those limited edition soaps, everything. All of the ingredients that went to take it, 100% of the proceeds went to that fundraiser. Absolutely amazing. You know, once again, occasionally people will complain because they can't get that limited edition soap, you know, for the fundraiser that they want to. And that's because, you know, there's a limit. There's a limit to what an artisan can afford when you're donating 100% of the proceeds. There's just a limit to what you can do. I mean, really unheard of. Amazingly unheard of. So, and you know, there's a lot of other of us artisans who are in there in the trenches and donate as well. But you know, that's one thing that just makes Douglas amazing. Is not only does he donate and help out any way he can, but he does it, donates everything, and then doesn't say anything about it. You know, he doesn't really bring it up. I heard him bring it up once, but that was just to explain why he couldn't come out with more of the limited edition soap. All right, so first pass, let me do a rinse. So another thing that I really like about Douglas is that he is also a vintage, you know, fiend like I am. He really appreciates the old vintage razors, vintage soaps, vintage scents, and things like that. And goes out of his way to bring them back, reproduce them, you know, if he can. The double open comb is a perfect example. This isn't something he made up. This is a copy of a vintage razor that he thought was amazing and thought everybody would enjoy. And sure enough, it's a great razor. I really love it. This is the first edition. Apparently the second version he made a little more aggressive. But what really happened is that I guess a lot of guys were just cranking the handle down, and it was compressing that blade gap a little too much. So if you have the version 1 and you think it's too mild, just snug the handle so that it holds fine without cranking it down. That's all you need to do. But yeah, we've seen razors after razor and brushes. Oh yeah, can't wait. I'm gonna sit down and order from Phoenix here as soon as I get done. And one of the reasons that I haven't ordered directly from him before, all my soaps and stuff I've gone, you know, I've done trades for, and I've done gone in with somebody who was already ordering. And the reason is because there's so much there that I want, that if I sit down and start loading up my cart, You know, I'm at like $500 before I even think about it, you know, and there's a cart full of stuff because it's all awesome. So, really like his soap blend, the soap base as well. And the aftershaves, of course, are phenomenal. And speaking of aftershaves, you'll notice if you go, you know, out to the Phoenix site, there's can be a pretty good difference between some of the aftershaves and how much they cost. And the reason for that is because some of them he starts, you know, with raw ingredients. He doesn't start with essential oils that he orders a big bottle of and mixes it up. And so those ones that he starts with the raw ingredients, that takes a lot of time, effort, research. So he has to charge more because he's got a lot more into it. And it's worth checking that stuff out. Because if you want a true artisan experience, that's the way to go. You know, as a woodworker, for me, it's the difference between not even pre-bought furniture, you know, like IKEA stuff. That would be the equivalent of, you know, getting a Vanderhagen puck at Walmart. But it's the equivalent between somebody who uses all power tools and somebody who has mastered the craft of using all hand tools and creates beautiful art in wood. All right, we're going to rinse off. I'll come back and do the third pass. I'll be right back. All right. I don't really need a third pass. I'm just going to do a little cleanup real quick. Hit my trouble spots. All right, well, there you have it. That is just some of the reasons why Douglas from Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements is my first artisan spotlight. I've had many occasions to talk to him as well, and he's just always been a nice guy, so that makes it easy too. All right, so I'm going to finish off this shave with another very popular PAA product, and this is the CAD, CAD. Very, you know, barbershop-y kind of scent, really nice. It took me a couple times to really appreciate it. But man, is it good. Some other soaps from, or scents from PAA that I really love. Dapper Doc, which I have a sample of. I'm going to be ordering some of that. That is just a kick-ass scent. Dapper Doc. Whew, really good. If you like leather, Tombstone is over-the-top leather. Just, oh, really good. And I haven't gotten my hands on it yet, but I'm going to order it right now. Is some Club Guy, because who doesn't like the Bernard Clubman scent? Oh, so can't wait to do that. All right, guys. I just had an awesome shave. I hope you do too. If you see Douglas out there, be sure to say hey and thank him for all he's done in this community.